my name is Emma Marshall and this is a video for my Level 3 Forest School Leader qualification. I am getting ready today to do my cooking in the forest, and so I start the process inside, which you can do in school, to get all of my things ready following food hygiene practices to get ready to be going to forest school with all of our cooking ingredients and equipment so that we're ready to go. I've washed my hands with soap and water, so I am all clean and ready to prepare food. The first thing that I'm going to cook on the campfire is pasta. So I'm going to do a boiling technique to cook pasta. So I've got my pasta in a tub, and as with all of our food ingredients, they're all going to be stored in food type tubs that have been very thoroughly washed, so that they stay really safe and hygienic while we're moving to the forest and when we're about to cook with them. So that's sorted, and I also have a jar of pesto as well. So we're going to be mixing the pesto into the pasta. I take all of my food items to forest school in a cool box that has cool blocks inside to keep everything nice and fresh. So these can go inside. And then I need a pan as well for that. So that's going to go in there too. The next thing that I'm going to make in forest school is toasted apples. So this is a really nice alternative to toasting marshmallows. It's a little bit healthier, obviously, if we're thinking about being health conscious and passing on good lifestyle habits to our children. Also, marshmallows quite often are not vegetarian, and we have a few vegetarian children. This is a nice alternative for that as well. So for these, I have chopped my apples into thin slices. So these are in thin slices, and following the government advice to do with small children, I work with children aged 3 to 5. So cutting their apples into small thin slices makes them much less of a choking hazard than in chunks, or like a marshmallow is also considered a very big choking hazard. So when we get to the forest, I'll be putting these on skewers. So I need to take some skewers with me, and I'm going to put my apple slices into a food safe container. So they can go in, and then to go with the apple slices, I'm going to make some cinnamon sugar. So again, in my little pot, I'm going to mix just a little bit of sugar. So once the apples are toasted, you'll be able to dip them in the cinnamon sugar. So that's a few teaspoons of sugar. And this is between all the children. And a shake of cinnamon. And then give that a mix. So we'll be able to dip it in there. It's a really nice autumnal taste. And that couple of teaspoons of sugar is split between all the children. So it's a much more health conscious recipe. Again, that's sealed so that it stays hygienic. The next recipe I'm going to do is a baked potato. So we're going to do baking in the campfire. So I'm going to do a baked potato. And this is super easy and good for children to get involved with. With all of this, the preparation of the food, you can get the children involved in this before heading to forest school. So I'm going to just pop some holes in the potato. And pop it in a piece of foil. Sometimes sometimes there are time pressures when you're in the forest for cooking and things, and baked potatoes can take a long time. So we can actually pre-part cook them by boiling them beforehand, just to make sure that it's not going to take as long as an hour to cook on the campfire. And here I'm just brushing the potato with some olive oil, which again is a great job for the learners to do. And then I'm going to wrap that up in foil. Again, I could pre-cook it to make it faster, the cooking process a little bit faster. So then those can go inside my cooking box as well. And I'm going to take a little bit of grated cheese in a container as well, so that when the potatoes are finished cooking, obviously we can put cheese inside them. That can make a lovely lunch for the children. But also you could cook beans on a pan on top of the campfire. You could take whatever fillings that you like, or of course you could cook your potatoes as a side dish for another meal if you're cooking sausages or whatever you're cooking on the campfire. Everything we're cooking today is vegetarian. We have a few vegetarian children and a few different allergies and things like that. So we're trying to cater to healthy eating for small children, and also to be conscious of food hygiene. It can make it quite difficult to keep meat products at temperature when you're travelling from school to a forest school site. So everything that we're doing today involves fruits and vegetables. So that's going in there. And the last thing that we're going to make is steamed barbecue broccoli. So that's going to use the cooking process of steaming. So I've got some broccoli here. The first thing that I need to do is get a piece of foil and fold up the sides. Fold up the sides to make like a little container for my broccoli. I'm going to put my broccoli inside. Okay. And then onto that I have got some barbecue seasoning, so some spices. They're not particularly spicy, so that it's not too strong for my small learners. So I'm just going to dust those over the top. And then I've got some water, so I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons of water into the bottom. So when that cooks on the campfire, the heat from the campfire will turn the water into steam, and that will steam our broccoli within our little parcel. I've got a larger piece of foil. I'm going to pop my little tray on top of the larger piece of foil, and we're going to turn it into a tent, is what we're going to say to our learners, to make it fun and engaging for them. So lift up the sides like this, and lift up the top, and lift up the other top, and squeeze them together. You want to have a bit of a gap inside the foil parcel, because you want to have space for the steam to generate and move around to steam the vegetables. And you pinch those together on the sides. Like that, and we have made our little broccoli steaming tent to go in onto our campfire. So that's all my food prepared and ready. I'm going to close the lid and put my ice box into my cool box, and then take it all to the fire, get my fire safety equipment ready, and then I'll be ready to cook.
Hello, my name is Emma Marshall, and I am making this video of my cooking skills for my level 3 in Leadership and Forest School qualification. I've set up everything outside ready. I'm not in my normal forest school site, but this is the normal forest school bowl that we would use. I've got my bucket of water for immediate treatment of burns. I've got my burns kit, my fire gloves, my first aid kit, and my fire blanket all ready to go. And then over on the other side, I've got my table laid out, which is clean and has been wiped and washed. I've got a rubbish bag for any waste, so that no waste gets dropped into nature. I've got some hand sanitizer, and I've got some hand wipes. I've got all my food, my utensils all set out and ready to go. All my food is ready in my cool box, so I'm ready to begin. I've got my fire bowl ready, and in the bottom I've put 4 pieces of wood, and a finger-sized wood, and I'm going to, I've left gaps in between them to create air channels so that the air can get through and help the fire establish. Okay, so that's the fire now beginning to establish. So I'm going to put some slightly thicker sticks on. We always remember whenever we light a fire in forest school that we're making a campfire, not a bonfire. So it just needs to be a small fire, enough to cook what we want to cook today. That's the fire established enough to start cooking. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get my baked potato out of my cool box. And using tongs, long tongs, very carefully, I'm going to pop it into the fire bowl. And the heat from the fire, putting it right at the bottom, will start to help to bake the potato. Next thing we can do is toast our apples. There's two different ways that we can do that. We can either toast them on the grill by laying them down like skewers, or we can hold them the way that people do traditionally with a marshmallow. So I'm going to show you both. So first of all, I'm going to get my apples. And put one on a skewer. I'm using my ready position when I'm cooking on the fire, kneeling on my kneeling mat. I'm just going to hold my apple over the fire, turning it a little bit every now and then. Just in such a way that you would toast a marshmallow traditionally on a campfire. You can get longer skewers, which are good for little people if you don't want hands too close, or you could let them use a fire glove if they're nervous. Toasted the apple in the flames. Nearly done. Got some nice brown looking edges. Once you're happy, get our cinnamon sugar. And we can dip the apple in. That down on a plate for now. And I'm going to show you the other way that you can do that. So I'm going to get our grill, pop our grill now on top of our fire bowl. And I'm going to repeat the process. So I'm going to get my skewer. And put a couple of pieces of apple on it. Like that. And then I'm going to lay that onto the grill over the heat. While that's cooking, I'm going to set my pasta and my broccoli going. So I've got a pan of water over here. And I'm going to pop my pan over the heat until it boils. Just pop it on the edge, it's not quite in the flames. And once that's boiling, I can add my pasta. I've also got my little broccoli tin, which I'm going to steam. So I'm going to put that on using my tongs so that I don't burn my fingers. Put that on the edge for that to start to cook as well. So that's all just cooking away. just going to turn my apple over. That is well toasted, so now I'm going to cut that, dip that into my sugar, and that is toasted apples ready to eat. So I'm going to pop that on the plate. Take a look at my water. I think my water is nearly boiling, so I'm going to pop my pasta into my boiling water. Pasta boil for about 8 minutes and then it should be ready to eat. Okay, so it's been about 8 minutes and I'm going to take my pasta out. So pop my pasta in a bowl. I'm going to pop this to one side. I'm going to let it cool completely and then I'll put the wastewater in a big bottle once it's cold and take that back to school with us so that we're leaving no waste products in the forest at all. I've got my bowl of pasta and into that I'm going to add a little bit of pesto. Ready to mix. There's my pesto pasta, which I boiled. Fire is beginning to die down now, which is absolutely fine because really once we've finished our cooking session we want the fire to go out and the residual heat from the logs which are still smouldering and smoking is going to finish off cooking our potato. But next I'm going to have a look at the broccoli. Broccoli has got water inside of it, so it's been steaming, which means there's going to be a lot of hot air trapped inside the foil. So we have to be really, really careful with our fingers. So I'm going to lift that over to the table. And just use my tongs to start to open our little broccoli tent. Haven't put my fingers in because it is quite hot. And then I'm going to use my tongs to lift out my broccoli. And pop that onto the plate. Lunch up there, or if we were to make a healthy snack. So the last thing I need to do is check on my potato. So I'm going to lift the grill up. Okay. And I'm going to cut my potato. So that's looking good. Pop that onto the heat proof mat. I'm going to carefully open it using my tongs because it's going to be hot. Looking super. So I'm going to pop that into my bowl. And I'm going to pour my cheese over the top. And that is our baked potato. So I'm going to let the fire to cool down and then extinguish it safely and remove all trace of my permanent fire site today. Thank you.